Hey everyone, my name's Johnny. This is the second little sort of how-to kind of video that I'll be teaching on how to play slap bass, or how to come up with a pretty cool kind of slap bass line. Hopefully this should help you to find your feet when you're playing slap bass and just sort of get more comfortable in playing. I'm going to try not to talk as much as I did in the last one. I'm just going to try and sort of get straight to the point with regard to this. And again, just for anyone watching, this is more aimed at beginners. This is not an advanced lesson. This isn't even a lesson per se. It's just a couple of little hints and tips. So if you want to spam me saying I'm crap or whatever, or this is really basic, this is meant to be basic. Again, it's just aimed at beginners. Okay, and just for those who asked in my about what equipment I'm using at the moment, I'm just using a passive 4-string bass. It's just an OLP. Looks like a Music Man, wish it sounded like a Music Man, and I'm actually just playing through a Marshall 35-watt guitar amplifier. It's not even a bass amplifier, it's really nothing special. So let's get to it. This is going to be about ghost notes. Now a ghost note is also just called a muted note. They appear on, most of the time when you're reading guitar tabs or bass tabs, sorry, they appear usually as an X, just for a muted note. How you do it is very easy. How you apply it is not as easy, but basically to get a ghost note, now it doesn't really matter where you do it, as long as, I suppose as long as you're not somewhere where there's a harmonic that's obvious, but you can get ghost notes just by going like that. All it is just muting the notes that you're slapping. It doesn't matter where you really do it, except for the 12th fret, because you get notes. But anywhere else, that's just it. Now, great, so I mean, a bit of a waste of time, wasn't it, if you're just going to watch a video just to know about that, just to do that, because you could do that yourself anyway, couldn't you? All it is just ghost notes, nothing too exciting, but it's how you apply it that that can make all the difference. With regard to ghost notes, are actually a lot more common than you think. A lot of bass players use them. They can be used a lot to spice up your bass line, to make it sound a lot more interesting, a lot more technical than it is. Ghost notes often also can simulate the bass drum as well, so if you're playing with a drummer and it's just the two of you playing, if you start playing some ghost notes, like a faster bass line with a few more ghost notes, that'll prompt him to probably use the bass drum a little more, and you guys can actually do things that sound and look a lot more impressive with not much work at all. So let's get straight to it now. In my previous lesson, I taught about just how to go open slap, and then hammer down, and then muted slap, and then pop, just to get like a triplet kind of effect, like that. Oh, and that's the octave position. We're going to do basically the same thing again, and then I'll move on a little bit from there. But so just again, for the sake of this lesson, what we're going to do is we're going to take the B, so 7th fret on the E string, 9th fret on the D string, so you've got B, just like that, okay? And just remember when you're slapping, again, your thumb position might be important. I slap with my thumb diagonally across the string, just at the end of the neck, okay? So in the last lesson, it was open, hammer, slap, and then pop the octave of the note. This time, we're going to go open, hammer, slap, but we'll do things a little bit differently this time. Instead of just going one muted slap before you pop, we'll go two, so you get like that, just like that. And again, we'll move it down, move it around, just go using B, A, G, A, and then back to A, to G, to A. Okay, so just remember, like that, okay, so. Now let's link that all together, and we'll chuck a few more ghost notes in there. Now, for the sake of this exercise, basically one lick that you should remember, or one, not so much a lick, but one little exercise to remember, is just to try go 2 ghost notes or 2 muted slaps, and then before you pop each note. Now let's add a few more of that set of 2 muted slaps and then a popped note, and we'll try and do it continuously. Okay, that was basically it. We can speed that up and stuff in a sec. You might want to go back and just watch that again, but all it is just 2 muted slaps and a pop. nothing really, there's nothing difficult there at all. Now if you speed that up, you can actually sound quite impressive by playing something like that sort of faster. But just bear in mind you want to be tight as well, because there's no point playing that really fast and all of a sudden coming across sounding really messy, especially if the drummer's trying to do something with the bass drum to mirror what you're playing, and all of a sudden if your ghost notes are starting to sound really messy, that's going to sound really confusing. But yeah, let's just see what that sounds like sped up. Now you see there that I introduced a few hammer-ons on the A string. I was just popping notes on the A string and just hammering on. I'll go a lot more in depth on that on my next video, but that was just to demonstrate that ghost notes also work great to separate notes that you're popping. So it adds, if you're playing it slow and you think about it slowly, it makes it sound like you're actually stopping what you're playing, but really you're not, and it does it to sort of keep tempo. So if I could just try and demonstrate that now. And that was just basically it. Now, again, what I was playing there might have actually sounded really difficult, but it wasn't. It was basically just the two ghost notes and then a popped note, but then I was just adding some hammered notes in there as well, and again, there'll be more on that in the next one. But between every single popped note, I was actually just putting in one muted ghost note. Okay, so in the meantime though, just for something to practice, for something to take away from this, again on ghost notes, just practice two ghost notes and then a popped note. Just like that. You can just continually do it over and over, and again, just because you're using the octave position, one note and then the octave, you can do it anywhere on the neck as long as you've got that position. Just like that. Okay, so all you have to do is just remember 2 muted slaps in the pop, and then see if you can get your speed up a little bit. If you can practice it with a drummer, try that and see if your drummer can actually learn to play sort of what you're playing as well. For example, every ghost note you do, he could do the bass drum, and then for every pop note you do, you might want to hit the snare or something like that and come up with some kind of beat to line up with what you're playing. But anyway, so again, just to end, 2 muted notes, 2 ghost notes, and a pop. That's just it.